Welcome to BERNINA Quilting Tooltips. Our topic today is Understanding the BERNINA Stitch Regulator with Nina McVeigh.
Thank you, Catherine. The hallmark of excellence in free motion techniques is the ability to keep the stitch length even and consistent as the fabric is guided without the assistance of the feed dogs. The BERNINA Stitch Regulator provides beginners with the confidence to master increasingly popular free motion techniques. For more experienced free motion stitchers, the BERNINA Stitch Regulator offers the added security of consistent stitch length, providing the confidence to try more challenging techniques. The BERNINA Stitch Regulator is an innovative accessory that is far more than just a presser foot. It is part of a dynamic interaction between quilter, accessory, and the BERNINA sewing machine. After extensive development and testing, the BERNINA Stitch Regulator was patented as a unique innovation that is still unparalleled today. The Stitch Regulator is attached to the BERNINA compatible machine just like any other presser foot. The Stitch Regulator sits slightly to the right, so it is very easy to attach to the machine. The Stitch Regulator is then plugged into the machine. Some models have a plug-in on the back of the machine, and some models have a plug-in under the head frame in the back left corner. When the Stitch Regulator is plugged in, a special screen will appear. The look of this screen may vary depending on the model of BERNINA machine you have, but the functions on the screen are the same. It is from this screen that you will choose the straight or zigzag stitch, mode 1 or 2, and the beeper signal that indicates whether you are moving too fast. You will also select stitch length and width, as well as needle stop up-down. The BERNINA Stitch Regulator comes with 3 different soles. The sole that will be on the Stitch Regulator when taken out of the box is a closed, O-shaped metal sole for detailed free motion stitching techniques, such as stippling, bobbin play, or thread painting. Another choice included with the BERNINA Stitch Regulator is the clear sole. It is perfect for echo quilting and for doing medium to large scale free motion stitching techniques. The large sole moves easily over raised areas. It's useful for stitching thick battings as it compresses a larger area around the needle, increasing visibility. Crosshairs and concentric circle markings aid in accurate stitch placement. An open C-shaped metal sole is available for added visibility in front of the needle. Good for following printed or marked lines. The prongs of this sole are slightly curved, facilitating movement over several layers of fabric or several layers of thread. To change soles, press in the white notch on each side of the foot. That will release the sole, and it may now be easily removed by pulling down and forward. To add a new sole, make sure the sides of the sole are placed over the lower notch as you see in my photo. Slide the sole up and back until it snaps into place. Looking again at the Stitch Regulator screen, you see that the stitch length may be selected just like any other stitch in the sewing machine. Width may also be selected from this screen. This, of course, would be appropriate for the zigzag stitch. We see a lock next to the stitch width on my screen because the straight stitch throat plate is on the machine, therefore allowing no width to the stitch to keep the needle from breaking. The beeper alarm may be activated or deactivated from the screen. However, if it is deactivated, you may be outrunning the Stitch Regulator without knowing. Mode 1 or Mode 2 is selected from this screen as well. Some machines will have separate icons for each mode. This machine has a toggle icon. The dark number is the active mode. So here the active mode would be 1. There is also an icon to disengage or engage the stitch regulator. If you disengage the stitch regulator, you can free motion quilt, but it will be like using any other free motion foot without the aid of stitch regulation. Now let's look at the two modes of the stitch regulator. One is not better than another. It may just become your preference. When the machine is activated in mode 1, the needle will slowly move up and down. The needle is always moving. When the fabric is moved faster, the needle will move up and down faster. And if it is moved slower, the needle will move up and down slowly. When it does not sense any movement at all, it will continue to move up and down. This can be great for securing threads as you take a few stitches before you begin your quilting or when you end your quilting. But again, mode 1, the needle is always in constant motion. When the machine is activated in mode 2, the needle does not immediately move. It is waiting for you to move the fabric. Again, the faster you move the fabric, the faster the needle moves, and the slower you move your fabric, the slower the needle moves. But when you stop moving your fabric, the needle waits in an up position. It will wait for 7 seconds, and if it does not sense any movement, it will turn off. Securing in mode 2 is done by touching the securing function. Then, when you power the stitch regulator, the machine will stitch in place for several stitches and then stop with the needle in an up position waiting for you to start quilting. I talked about powering the stitch regulator, but how is that done? There are two ways to power the BERNINA Stitch Regulator. The stitch regulator may be turned on with the stop-start button on the head frame of the machine. A red light appears on the bottom of the foot indicating that it is turned on. It may be turned off with the same stop-start button or by tapping the foot control. I often will use mode 1 when I am quilting, and I will start it with the stop button on the head frame of the machine, but I find it much easier to stop it by tapping the foot control. The stitch regulator may also be turned on by pressing down the foot control. You must remember at this point that the foot control is simply an on-off switch, and it does not control the speed of the machine. I suggest that if you are going to use the foot control, that you press it down all the way. When you do press the foot control down, a red light appears on the bottom of the foot, indicating that the stitch regulator is on. So whether you are in mode 1 or mode 2, if there is a red light on the stitch regulator, it tells you that the stitch regulator is on. The stitch regulator is an investment that you have made in your quilting, so it is important that you take care of it. You can see on the bottom of the foot is an electronic eye. This eye needs to be kept clean. So if you have picked the stitch regulator up and put a fingerprint or a thumbprint on this eye, it may not read correctly. Or if you use a lot of chalk in marking your stitching lines, that chalk may also cloud up this electronic eye. So it is important that you keep it clean. You will clean it just like you would clean eyeglasses with a soft cloth and just wipe away that fingerprint or that chalk. Free motion stitching should be enjoyed. Free motion quilting should be enjoyed. Free motion work takes practice. One of the things that you can do is draw your design. Draw it over and over again. Do lots of doodling. You need to relax, breathe, and practice. Let the BERNINA Stitch Regulator shorten the learning curve. The BERNINA Stitch Regulator provides beginners and experienced alike with confidence to master your free motion quilting.